So I want to talk today about the difficulty of traveling without your kids or leaving your kids with someone else when you are a parent of neurodivergent kids, and especially if your spouse is also neurodivergent. It's one of those things that I don't talk about a lot, and part of that is protection for my family. I don't want them to feel like they're any more of a burden than the struggles they already feel. A lot of times my kids who are neurodivergent, their self-esteem is already pretty significantly impacted by the fact that they know that they're different than other kids. So I don't want to, my husband too, so I don't want to help make them feel more that way. But the reality is that this is something that a lot of families who have neurodivergent kids or family members struggle with. When you are either you're taking a break because you need to go on a break, you're going to leave your kids with someone else, or as the situation is for myself, I'm going on a trip for business and I'm going to be leaving my husband with the kids here at home. My husband is neurodivergent. He has ADHD and probably autism as well. And then most of my kids have ADHD or autism. Just the anxiety I feel about leaving them all. Let me just be really clear that my husband is a full partner in our marriage and in our family. He pitches in willingly. I don't often have to explain to him, ask him to do more than he's already doing. He wants to work hard and stuff. However, there are limitations when you have ADHD and when you have autism to how much he notices, to things that he doesn't carry things the same way I do. And a lot of moms will say that too, that no one does it the way you do it. And it's not the same thing as what I'm talking about here. It's that as a mom to neurodivergent kids, as a wife to someone with ADHD and autism, there are ways that I compensate for a lot of their struggles. There are things that I do that I notice that need to be done, so I just do them. And there are things that my kids and my husband struggle with because of their neurodivergence that I help them to make life run more smoothly. If I'm going to be gone for an extended period of time, it can really be anxiety-inducing to think about the fact that those things may not get handled. A couple of basic examples here. A lot of times when my kids are getting ready to get out the door in the morning for school, they forget to feed their pets. Or we have cats and they may go several days without someone remembering to clean the litter boxes. Now they're indoor-outdoor cats, so that's not a crisis, but if you have a cat, litter boxes can smell pretty fast. So, that's one simple example. Somebody has to remember to make sure that everybody who needs ADHD medication in the morning gets. That's usually me because I don't take ADHD medication. So that's one of the things I make sure that everybody does in the morning. My husband has ADHD, so he usually remembers to take his, but is he going to remember to check and make sure everybody took their medication? My youngest child doesn't do his own laundry yet because he's 8. Is my husband going to remember that he needs to have laundry done before the laundry actually runs out? These are some things, and I know these sound like small things, but when you're a family with a lot of neurodivergent people in it, small things like that add up and become huge raging forest fires that... Sorry, I've been sick, so my voice is kind of wacky, but those are things, they're real legitimate concerns. There's things like, I'm the one who's usually here to make sure my kids have someone at home when they get home from school in the afternoon. We're going to have to find someone to make sure they're there for that because my husband's job keeps him there later than when the kids get home. Is he going to remember that this child comes home at this point and another child comes home later and this other child has to be picked up from a sports event? There's just a lot of moving parts in a family of 8 people, which is the size ours is. And as the stay-at-home parent and as the default parent, I'm the one who usually handles those things. It's not that my husband can't handle them. He totally can. It's that, is he going to be able to put the systems in place to remember them? Is he going to have the support that he needs to do it? Or is it going to end up falling on some of my other kids, some of the oldest kids? And I don't like that to happen. But in a lot of families with older and younger ones, that does tend to happen. And especially if your oldest ones have grown up with a sense of maturity and responsibility towards younger siblings. So a lot of times families who have a lot of neurodivergent kids, they'll talk about the difficulty. They'll talk about feeling burned out and feeling exhausted all the time and feeling overwhelmed and not knowing how to move forward, and how difficult it is to actually rest and recover from burnout and from some of these difficulties. And one of the major issues is this one that I'm talking about here, which is that in order to really get a break and a rest, there aren't very many people who can truly take on the work that a parent is doing in that home without there being significant issues. And yes, there are those who may be able to step in, but depending on how sensitive your kids are to changes and how rigid their schedule needs to be to keep them whole and well, it can really be quite disruptive. So I just want to acknowledge this difficulty. And I know that my husband's going to be fine with the kids and the kids are all going to do great. There is this constant tension that as the stay-at-home parent and as the default parent I've carried for years. And now I'm going to have to trust that others are going to be able to take that up. I think they will, and I'm sure it's going to be okay. But you always have this lingering fear in the background, this lingering anxiety of what if something gets missed that's crucial. If you're a parent with kids who have ADHD or autism, and you know what this is about, hit the like and leave me a comment. If you don't, I hope you'll take a moment to just really think through what it looks like for parents of neurodivergent kids who may need a break but are hesitant to find a way even to do that because it's complicated to make sure that everyone has what they need.